Good morning, everybody. Must be Tuesday. I'm not remembering anything. All right. So, good morning, everybody. How are you today? This week is going to be a little bit different than last week. And basically what we're looking at is I'm starting out the day with doing a little bit of behind the scenes work, and then we're going to get to a whole ton of wood chopping. So cross our fingers that everything's going to be sensible, because you never know what's going to happen when you start doing random behind the scenes stuff. So what I'm going to do is switch over to the live, maybe sort of live screen. There. Alrighty. So this one off. So first thing we're going to start with is a quick explanation. Last week, we had a minor situation. It wasn't a big deal, but where someone had done a redeem. So if we take a look at the redeems at the bottom, whoops, actually, did I do that correctly? Can I capture the window or capture part of the screen? Let's try. We're gonna get a little bit of what do you call it? Inception going on here. 1, 2. Nope, not that screen. Sorry, guys. Nope, not that one either. This one. Okay, so we got a bit of an inception thing going, but you can start to see that we have, oops, bottom we have a block of redeems. Now in the block of redeems, we had one that was a, so I disabled it, now I gotta re-enable it. Where did I put it? There it is. We had one that was set to be a redeem of Trivial Pursuit World of Harry Potter. Now, I decided for reasons.
Oh, hello there!
Better? Okay. You're bad. Oh, oops. That's okay. My mic's being stupid today as well. So I've decided for reasons based on just a couple of different things that could come up that I want to convert that to something a little bit more general. Going to still use the Harry Potter concept, but not actually, not the Harry Potter, sorry, the Trivial Pursuit concept, but not actually the Harry Potter one. So I want to convert it to something else. And I just had a really, really busy weekend with Scout events, so we didn't actually have time to get that converted. Yeah, that's the other thing, Neon. I'm still looking into why it's being as crazy as it is for mobile users, and how they seem to have a special set of like whatever P, something like 420, I think he said was the one we needed, in order to be able to actually hear things like sound. But if you get too many, like too high on that one, then it starts cutting out again. I'm still trying to figure out why that is. I'm not really sure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to taking a look at the streamer bot, and you guys will have to let me know if the text on that is too small, so I can always make it a little bit bigger. Let's pull this up a bit. Okay. And close up a bunch of this junk, because nobody needs to see that junk when working on something specific. Okay, and close that up. So we're concerned mostly with this Trivial Pursuit category, but we're going to duplicate it and turn it to a couple of different versions of Trivial Pursuit. I'll show you real quick what I've got. If I can go video mode, take off, filters, background, there we go. Alright, so you're going to get to see my messy room again. But the versions I'm looking at today, we've got the Trivial Pursuit 90s Time Capsule Edition, which has the lovely little tagline of saying being from the most trivial of decades. So yeah, we've got that one. And the other one that we're going to be working with today, still see Potter stuff in the background. Apologies to those that don't like it, whatever. And the other one is the Trivial Pursuit Disney Family Edition. So we're going to convert it to both of those. Neon, if you're saying the 90s is after your time, that's not that bad. If you were telling me it was before your time, then that would be making you younger than Ross, which is a little bit frightening. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert over to those sets, which means we're going to have multiple ones. So I'm going to have to call it something different eventually so people can differentiate. But we're going to start with the functionality that we had before and then switch it into the new game. And sorry for the clinks and clanks as I looking for the easy category card. Okay, well that'll have to do. I haven't played the 90s one in forever and I forgot what was in here. We have really weird looking pies and stuff. Really, really odd. Anyway. Alright. So we've got, that one's probably easier because it's just one set of categories. And we're going to just take this group and enable, disable. Let's start by turning it all off. Disable them all. And then we're going to duplicate each one of these. We'll start with this one. I'll show you what it does, actually. Oops. Don't need to do that yet. I'm going to delete that one and then head back into my actions. So we need to see how these function in order to update them for the new set. I don't know if I can duplicate easy or if I have to do them one at a time. We'll find out. by the way, this isn't because of what I wrote in my Discord about being rattled by the content. It was more that I realized that it's one of those things not everybody wants to see or hear. So I figured I'd give a little bit more variety while I think of alternative things to do. We still have the not parent approved is still in there. So it's not like I'm saying no to the games, but Trivial Pursuit's one of those ones that people don't necessarily want to answer on stream. It's not just the content. It's also people just don't know. BTS stream? Behind the scenes. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, behind the scenes. I mean, if it is and there's a category, go for it. But I didn't know what to call it. These cards are kind of funky because in addition to the category, you don't get to select what the year is per se, but it does tell you down the side of the card what the year related to the cards is. For example, probably won't be able to see this one up against my shirt very well. Okay, there's one. And okay, so for example, the one that I'm holding up now in front of me. Oh, and I guess I can turn that filter back on. Filters. Turn this back on. There we go. So the one I've got in front of me right now is, it says 1990 on it, so it'll all be related to 1990. Whereas the second one, this one, says 1996. So it'll be 1996 category stuff. But it looks like it's not selectable as to what year you've got. You're supposed to shuffle them all up, so it'll be all through the decade. Okay, so the first thing we've got is, okay, I'm going to look for, there we go. So this is, I left under Channel Point Games. I probably should move it, set group, to Trivial Pursuit. Makes more sense. And then I can take this off. Back down to, not that. Okay. Down to the Trivial Pursuit items. Now the Trivial Pursuit one, we're going to start with the basic point, but what it actually does is it adds info of who redeemed it and the info from the input. So in theory, they were supposed to choose a category, although that never really quite worked properly. I'm just going to get rid of, just disable that feature till I know it works. But what it does is it gets the info from who redeemed it to say Neon redeemed the points thing, and then it turns on all the category pieces. So it turns off the question, which is the first one. Then it turns on each of the categories, and then it plays a sound, which in this case was...
Of course you know all about Hogwarts.
So we're going to have to find ourselves a different sound to play. With the 90s one, I don't have a 90s sound handy, but we'll find something generic to begin, and then we'll switch it out later once we find something appropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Can I duplicate this whole group? Will it let me? Group? Nope, it won't. Okay, so I have to do it one by one. We're going to duplicate this one. Where'd it go? Okay, and I'm going to edit it to change it. Not Harry Potter. We're going to call it clickety clickety 90s trivia. Yep. Okay, so we're going to call it 90s trivia. And then what we're going to have to do is change it up so that each one of these is referring to the categories, etc., etc. So this one isn't what it's going to be called. It's numerical. Oh, right. Okay, I don't have that one set up as a command yet. So we have to go a little bit back and forth. Unfortunately, it doesn't let me have more than one screen of this stuff. So we'll have to bounce around a little bit. That's okay. Okay, so first I have to rename these so I know which one it's referring to. Kind of stinks, but that's okay. Rename. I wish I could rename the group. It would be nice, but no. That's not how it works. Green. By the way, good morning, Zerk, and good morning to Neon Traveler, and good morning to anybody who has decided to lurk. Or well, yeah, good morning because it's only 10:23 for me. So we have double renaming to do. I probably should have duplicated first, but, you know, that would have involved forethought. You get to see a little bit of the order of operations in my brain, I suppose. So what I'm doing just is so that if I ever want to bring this category back and do it as Harry Potter again, then I can do so easily. Some of these links do carry across. So if I was to look at our 90s trivia one, which does need to be fixed, these are actually all screwed up. Like, they're referring to the names I gave the redeems, not the category stuff here. So really, these categories should have been named the correct whatever they were. I didn't do that. Oops, on me. But for example, the Harry Potter one here, all it does is it sets, once you've picked whatever your category is, it sets the original question. So it just sets the original redeem active again and disables everything else. So this one is it disables all the other colors and it enables the Harry Potter reward. That's easy enough. So this one we can edit, and it's going to, oops, we can't actually because I haven't built that one. So now that we've got the 90s trivia one, we still have to edit what it does. But if I jump back into the channel point rewards, and now I can duplicate this one. I'm going to call it something different. So Trivial Pursuit, not Harry Potter. Trivial Pursuit 90s. Okay, and it says trivia question read on a stream. Fine, that works. And the action down here, instead of Harry Potter trivia, we want the 90s trivia. Select. That's really all it does. Right? And then when we back it up to the actions, we can see in the 90s that this one, we can now edit that, and it will turn off. If I can find, there it is, Trivial Pursuit 90s, turned off. So it's that basic. It's a lot of this to and fro, back and forth stuff. So where are we here? Platforms. So then this one I would turn it on, but it's not ready, right? So we can see that over here, the action for animals and magical creatures, which used to just be category green, it did carry over when I renamed the action to be green HP. It now switched. So I can actually go through and fix those. Might have been smart. I don't know. SMRT and all that. Okay. Can I do more than one? Nope, it's only group deletes. Darn. Okay, well, we'll do it one by one then. So category blue. Nope, I need to change each of these. Oh, it's Harry Potter. Duplicate the group? No. What a pain. Okay. So we're going to duplicate this one. Edit. Blue. 90s. Oh, nines? No. 90s. Okay. And actually, let's just rename that properly. Edit. Okay, so the blue in this case is hanging. So apparently the blue category is all about what people did in their leisure time. Games, sports, reading, etc. Okay, and then in the hanging one, we'll turn off the whole Trivial Pursuit category, and we will enable, edit. We have to enable just the 90s one. There, that's how that sort of thing works. Let's do this again. Duplicate. Now this green one is actually going to be, green in this case is important, whatever important was. It's all about real news. I don't know what real news would be, because it's not important now. But let's try this again. Okay, and then we enable the 90s one. That's it. Okay, then let's duplicate the orange, but thankfully it's not called orange. Oops, that's pink. Edit. Orange becomes trends. So it says trends is all about food and fashion. So we're going to need to know all that stuff in the other box not in this one. Let's see where we are. So blue, green, orange, pink. Duplicate and edit. And pink becomes... Oops, that's going to be my favorite category, I think. Oops, all about the mistakes and mishaps that made the headlines. So it's probably categories related to things like Darwinian mistakes. And then I'm going to have to go through a bunch of these and change out which ones are turned on and off, because I realized I just missed that. Let's just duplicate purple, get it out of the road, edit that one. Purple is... They don't have purple. Okay, I'm going to leave that one for a second. We do have a yellow, so let's duplicate that one. Come on. And edit that. I think I know why we have purple, because they didn't want to put brown in Harry Potter. Yellow has become Wired. All about technology, gadgets, and the internet. Okay, so we have one weird one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I did them wrong. Okay, that's okay. So blue hanging, blue HP. Green HP should be green important. Category. Green, oops. Green important. Okay, and then in that one, 90s is enabled. Perfect. Okay, then oops should have been pink. Oops. There we go, see? Oops. Pink. And the pink oops should have... I will talk my way through all of this if people are just wanting to chill and not say much or just do their thing for today. That's totally cool. Some days you don't get what you're looking for because other things need to be done for prep and behind the scenes. Okay, so pink oops, blue, green, orange HP, pink, purple. This should be brown because we don't have brown in the other one. And brown is viewing. All about movies, television, and things we watched during the 90s. Wow, that sounds like I'm old when I hear that. Okay, viewing. Edit. This one, 90s. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change these. Edit. Trends. Trends was orange. Rinse and repeat. Oops fixed. Wired. Edit that one. Wired. Oops, that way. This way. Wired was yellow. Change its action. That one, this one. 90s. Okay, so we need hanging. 90s, we're good. Viewing, 90s, we're good. Important, okay, we're good. Trends, we're good. Oops, we're good. Wired, we're good. What did I miss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we're fine. All right. So then we can go into the platforms and start mucking around with these ones. And I'm going to change the titles on these so that they actually have the color in it as well, because I think that's going to be confusing if I don't. Okay, so we've got the Trivial Pursuit 90s. So let's start with green, just because it happened to be. I'm going to dupe that one. Okay, and edit. This is green, but it's going to become green important. Okay, and then this one says, I can put the descriptor a little bit longer. Important. I'm going to put it in caps, just because it sticks out more. Important category is all about real news. And we're going to change this one to be pointing at green important. Select. So it's just a rinse and repeat of that sort of thing. Okay, so then this one, we can dupe that. Edit this. It was blue. Blue. One of the reasons I didn't have the words in the other lines is because it was a very long title. Blue. Hangin. Hangin? Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Hangin. The blue hanging category is all about what people did in their leisure time. Games, sports, reading, etc. And if I can get that fixed, sports, reading, etc. Oh, sorry, I missed your question, Neon. My apologies. It says, what is it here? Neon asks, why not have just one trivia redeem? The reason I'm going to be having different trivia redeems is because, for one, I don't want to lose the Harry Potter setup. And I think it's fair for everybody to know what the various categories are and be able to think about it. So that's where my brain went. It doesn't necessarily mean it makes a whole lot of sense. App, please. Can I have my app? Thank you. Because I don't need it for this, but that's okay. Alright, so we got blue, we got green. I guess it doesn't really matter. I really should just be able to do this out of one. It's more me being pedantic than anything else. Okay, so this one, that was orange, right? I think it doesn't really matter. Trends, okay. The trends category. The reason I like it, the blink. Yep, nope. The reason I like the, I had to bring up another app for me, which it just literally puts Twitch chat on screen. I'm not even paying attention to it right now. It's actually minimized, but what it does is every time someone makes a comment, then I hear a little sort of a ding or beep or something so that it actually catches my attention. Okay, the trends category is all about food and fashion, which is food I can handle. I like food questions. Fashion questions can go the way of the dodo. And I've been forgetting to change these. Okay, so trends should be this one. Select. Okay, what did I miss? Hang on, I think I messed up. So hang on didn't get redirected to this one. Select. Okay. And did that one get changed? Yes, it did. Okay, we're good. Let's just keep duplicating the same one. That's fine. That doesn't work for me. Magical objects, so we just did orange. Let's duplicate it. Actually, Neon, you might be, to be honest, you might actually be better off to consider saving points and using either the attention please redeem that just makes a lovely little sound, or the other one that actually might be worth your time is pop up my message, which actually makes it show up on my screen for everybody to see, like a
Neon Traveler thought it was wise to use one clues on first here, sir.
Ooh, I don't know who was there, but I hope that's your picture. I can't think today. But welcome to being the first, which actually I think you might have been. Legit, for once. So if it was to be redeemed again next stream, then it would be first here, Neon Traveler. Yay! That works. Okay. You guys aren't seeing the pop-up screens. No wonder. Okay, let's try something different here. I don't really care what's on my screen, so let's just do a display capture. And what is the existing display? Oh, not that one. Okay, I don't want that one. Let's take this one off. I want display capture 2. Let's do it that way. That's the one I want. so we're gonna take that off here and live. Display capture 2. Forget what I just did with it. There's my messy desk. I'm just going to drop this down a few so that we can get it back to where we need it to be. That'll work. So now you're sort of seeing what I'm seeing, although why you're seeing it inception-wise, I'm not particularly sure. I think it's because I've got the other screen on here. Let's close this one. There we go. Skippy Skippy. It's kind of gray, but that's because I've got other stuff going on. I figure out what it is that's making it quite so gray. I don't know. Not particularly sure. Okay. We'll just go with it for now. Actually, where is this? Display capture 2. Properties. Nope, that's not what I want. I want a filter. Filters. Add. Sure. And we'll take this one. We'll just take it up a little bit. Try that. Didn't make any difference. It is what it is. Okay. So we've got magical people, and I was pointing at yellow. But because I keep getting super distracted, I think I'm just gonna take that. Yellow was wired. Okay, and I'm gonna repoint this one while I think about it because that'll help me get not as distracted. Can Windows have multiple desktops? Actually, funny you should mention that. Very good point. Thank you, Neon. So I'm trying to remember how I did it. This one. New desktop. Not exactly. Not exactly. It does weird things to my stream. Yeah, normally I don't use this one at all. Like, I mean, this background jazz is pretty crazy. I think I'm just going to kill my picture because that's probably part of what's going on here. I'd love to have it do just like a section of my window, but I'm not that organized. Actually, let's just do this differently. Today, we don't need this one. We don't need that one. I'm going to change my display. Let's go over there. Sure, that'll work. That doesn't quite work, but we'll pretend. Okay, and then let's take that and transform center horizontally. That'll work for now. It's not perfect, but it'll do. So then I can take all this we're working on, go over there. It doesn't quite fit because that monitor's vertical. But we'll make it work. Okay, so we're working on the yellow. And I'm just going to stretch the mic a little bit. It doesn't do all that well. Okay, so the yellow category. Move my sheet a little bit. The wire. Ooh. Caps might help. What mythical creature do you wish actually existed? Okay, you may need to refresh me what the alicorn was from, because that's a little confusing to me. I just can't remember them all off the top of my head. Wired category. Oh, it's a winged unicorn. Okay. That makes sense. I like that one. I'm torn. I mean, they're all, the ones I'm thinking of are all Harry Potter ones mostly. But I'm torn. There's 3 that I like from the Fantastic Beasts series. I think Nifflers are pretty cool because they look kind of like platypi or platypuses. But I'm also really interested in whatever little the pick widget or pickwidgeon thing is. He's kind of like a stick bug, sort of. He's not a bug, but he's far more flexible and cool as a friend. But on the other hand, I think something potentially less troublesome. I quite like the mooncabs, and they're the ones that have like weird long necks with absolutely ridiculously huge eyes. Yeah, if we had Nifflers as a real thing, we'd have all kinds of problems with people using them as bank heist predators, and they hide. It's like they have a D&D style pocket of holding on their bellies. Okay, so let's see. We've got yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need this one, and there's one other one we need to do. The purple one. Oops. Stupid first. Yeah, exactly. Nifflers would take all the shiny. Okay, and this one is pink. Pink. There we go. I can't even spell oops correctly. Wow. The oops category is all about mistakes and mishaps. There we go. Mishaps that made headlines. That probably helps a little bit better. It's not great that we're using this monitor, but hey, it works. So I have a vertical one. You're only seeing part of it, but I have a vertical monitor on each side, and then the crazy crowded one you saw in the middle, which is where I usually play, and I have far too much mess everywhere. Sometimes when I don't know what to do with stuff, I just dump it on the desktop, and that's why that one got so messy. Pink oops category. That one looks good, and then we had this one becomes brown. Duplicate. Oh, whoops. Not that. I need to edit this one. Edit. Viewing. Viewing category is all about technology. Okay. Oh. Gadgets. And how did I get messed up that way? Viewing category is all about movies, probably the majority of which Ross hasn't seen. So all about movies, television, and things we watched during the 1990s. Now, I've been enjoying on YouTube another category known as Recollection Road. Not in a category, sorry, a channel called Recollection Road on YouTube. Totally enjoying it, but it's going over old things, old places. And here we go. I'm gonna put. All right, there we go. And it's kind of funny to watch some of the stuff. You see the things where I'm a kid who was born at the very tail end of the 70s. So, as part of that, it just means that I don't remember absolutely anything at all of the 70s, and the very early 80s are kind of a blur. So when I was really little, a lot of the 80s stuff applied. The 80s and 90s was sort of my thing. But the result of that is that... The result of that is that when people showed stuff from the 80s or 70s, I'm like, oh yeah, my parents had that, or my grandmother had that, which makes people feel really old when they hear me say it. There's also things you kind of go, you can tell when somebody wasn't the first owner of a house when their house ended up having the same sorts of things as like your grandmother's house sort of deal, rather than there'd be a generation off. And then you can also tell some houses people get incredibly nostalgic, and when they get nostalgic they do all kinds of crazy things. because then you see houses that are full of a mismatch. Mismatch? Whatever. A mix and match of what was popular to that person. Okay, so we got blues, greens, orange, pinks, browns, purple. Okay, we're good. Let's hope they're all tied correctly. Let's see, wired to wired. That's HP correctly. Oops, correct. Trends, important. That works. Viewing and hanging. Okay. So this one's pointing out 90s trivia. So now we can go, these all exist. So we can go back into the actions section. And we don't have to worry about these 90s one, they're fine. But the 90s trivia one, we need to adjust these ones. Because we have to set them enabled. Whereas it's a whole group category to disable this one. What I think actually I can probably do to get around it would be easy, even easier, is, where did I put it? Not that one. Set group. So I'm going to copy this. Yep, enjoy. Copy sub action. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to paste that. And we'll edit that action. The Trivial Pursuit group is all disabled. Go with that. That's fine. What we're going to do is actually do it the other way around. And we can edit this action. We're going to enable the rest of it. And let this one stay disabled for that particular state. That should, if all goes well, it should allow us to delete this. And then we don't have to adjust it every time. Which makes it a lot faster. Okay, so if I do this right, the whole category gets set as enabled, but then it turns off this one, and I also have to duplicate that. The enabled state specifically for the other Trivial Pursuit question. That's okay, we can do that. If I can find it. There we go, this one. So we'll just turn it. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Nope, I blew it. Okay, let's redo this one again. Let's delete that and start again. So we need to duplicate this one. And the reason we need to redo it is I should not have actually done it the way I did. By trying to end run it, it only works if I have multiple different Trivial Pursuit categories. Which is not going to work too well. 90s trivia. Let's quickly fix the redeem on that. Trivial Pursuit 90s. Edit. And this. Trivia. Okay, select. Alright. Back to the actions. This 90s trivia one, so we need to set the question itself disabled. There we go. And then we have to enable all the states of specific sub-actions, the ones that we want. So let's start with... Thankfully these are sorted by the order I made them, or played around with them. So we can actually just go down here and get it to work. Green. Change this one to blue. Edit. And this one can be orange again. Yay, so hopefully this won't take forever. Edit. This one pink. With the oops. And blue. Edit that. Not Hogwarts. Green, blue, pink, not blue. Green, blue, pink. Orange. I don't really care as long as they're all there. Edit. Brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Green, blue, orange, pink. Brown, and we're missing one. Yellow. There we go. Green, blue, orange, pink, yellow, and brown. Let's see if we can get it. All right, and then we need to change the sound. Find something interesting. I don't think I have a whole ton of sounds, but let's see what we've got. Sound effects. No, not creepers and such. Spiders or squirrels? No. Not an epic sax. That'd be amusing, but no. That might be fun for now. This one.
Oh,
Okay, so if we did that and then test it,
inconceivable!
that sounds like fun. We'll go with that for now. I don't think I need this, so I'm just going to remove that one and I'll see if I need it. Delete that action. Yes. I'm trying to remember why I needed it. Alright, so if I go in and turn that one on, do enable, and then where is the screen I'm on?